All right, listen up, nacho chips. Quiet down, crispy potatoes. This is the moment Velveeta's been preparing you for, and you're not about to crack under pressure. Today's the day to go all in on the drip. Velveeta's Heat and Eat Queso is the MVP of any game day spread, so stick by them, and you'll be golden. Now get out there and make delicious history. No tailgate party is complete without Velveeta.
Welcome to the Sportsman's Voice podcast, your inside connection to outdoor legislation. From the Beltway to policy happening your way, we're covering it all. I'm your host, Fred Bird. Join us as we explore public land access, wildlife and fisheries management, Second Amendment rights, the triumphs that shape our nation, the sports we all love, and the stories that fuel our passion for the great outdoors. This is the Sportsman's Voice podcast. All right. At this time, I'd like to welcome in Deputy Director Shannon Lott of the Michigan DNR and Michigan State Senator, co-chair of the Michigan Legislative Sportsman's Caucus, Mr. John Bumstead. Folks, thanks for making the time. How's your NAS Summit so far?
Fantastic.
Been great for me. Learning a lot and a lot of good people here, all in the same mindset.
Yes, it's nice, right? It's nice to be able to have folks in one room and have the sidebar conversations during the coffee break and what's going on over in Arizona, what's happening in Michigan, and be able to, trade some trade secrets, what's working for you, what's not, things like that. Lots going on in our community.
Yeah, very much. And a lot of concerns everywhere, but it seems like we're all on the same page here.
Yeah, which tees us up very well for what we're here to talk about during this NAS session is maintaining agency authority, working with legislators, and having that balance both for the good and preventing the bad. So in that, our issues, as you started to say, that kind of transcend all the partisanship. We're all here like-minded, want to see good things happen for our sporting community. Right now, you guys are working in Michigan on a fee adjustment in a good way. Director, talk to me about that. What's the goal there? Are we keeping up with inflation? Is it just long overdue in Michigan? What are we trying to do there? And how does it benefit the sporting community in Michigan?
Sure. We have not had a change in the license structure since 2014. So long overdue, over 10 years. And as folks know, once COVID hit, especially, a lot of things tripled in cost. So we are in the same boat as everybody else in America as far as cost of gas and fish food and all kinds of things that are now tripled in price from the 2014 era, of course. So with that, we had talked to our legislators that are conservation friendly and said, what could we offer more to the folks of Michigan by changing the structure a little bit, changing the pricing a little bit. Some things will go up, some things will go down in the package that Senator Bumstead has created. So I think it's great. It'll continue our long-term stocking trends in the Great Lakes, which is one of the things we're real worried about. We stock roughly 22 million fish a year, for example, and this year we were facing a stocking cut of about 50% in order to not go in the red with our fisheries program money. So they provided us the money this year to make sure we could still stock the 22 million fish this year. But, if we don't have the license restructure, we're going to be in that same boat next.
What percentage of the Michigan DNR is funded by license sales? Are you guys 100%, or are you getting general funds?
We do not get hardly any general fund. We get less than 1%.
So you guys are like 99% self-funded through license sales.
License sales and Pittman Robertson.
Right. So that's the bigger point I wanted.
Started about 30 years ago with Governor Engler, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's vitally important that those programs continue. And like you said, all of our agencies, are struggling in that. And it's tough, right? I mean, Senator, you can speak to it from a senator and constituency standpoint, I'm sure. But as soon as our community hears about a license increase, oh, good night. Forget it. You think you just set the world on fire. And you're trying to take
painful.
Look, so how do you articulate and how? I mean, obviously the agency tries to do their job of
Correct.
PR in this and putting that out. This is why it's important. How do you handle that?
Well, in Michigan, we have the House members are in a 2-year term. So every 2 years, I try to go in, we try to educate them on, how these departments are funded. And a lot of them don't realize the DNR is basically 100% funded by license fee, a user fee.
Right.
So it's been very important. We work with the Sportsman's Caucus. We have a breakfast once a month. There's sometimes 50 to 100 people there, legislators and the user groups, trappers, fishermen, Trout Unlimited, turkeys, DU, all of the groups are there. And we worked with all these groups. This is a really, we didn't just sit down one day and write this bill up. We worked very well with the department. What are the needs? How much is it going to take? Then we sat down, we would have meetings every week for like 3 months. We brought in all the different groups we even brought in Farm Bureau because in Michigan right now for a crop damage doe tag's $10. In our package, it lowers that fee to $1 because in southern Michigan, it's a real problem. There's just too many does. So we got Farm Bureau on board, and that's very rare that you can get Farm Bureau to support a package like this. Then we got NRA on board. That's a big deal for some of our members. All the fishing and hunting groups are on board. So basically, what we're dealing with now is there's so many new members coming in. Of 150 legislators in Michigan, 11 of them have a hunting or fishing license.
That's problematic.
So it's not their game. They don't understand it. They just come in with an axe to grind with any government agency. Right now, the DNR is the bad boy of the block for some reason. I have no idea why. It's all outdoor recreation has always been my passion, and just fisheries alone. What does that bring into Michigan? Billions. How many billions of dollars?
11 billion with the boating too.
That's huge.
So that's a huge economic driver. And I have 5. I'm on Lake Michigan side, so I have 5 lakeshore counties. That's a big deal. If we got to keep the fisheries, the hatcheries open. If we don't do that, we're not going to bring in tourists anymore. And they don't see the bigger picture. They just need to. It's just hard to educate them all the time when they have an axe to grind. And it's kind of right now, it's not fun in politics for that reason. But we'll get there eventually. Eventually there's something they'll want with a department, and it's called negotiating. And that art is not many people have that art anymore to negotiate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in today's political climate, and this was recognized at the beginning of the day in the opening remarks, right? Is federally, state level, hell, county, and your local select board or whatever that is, it is contentious. And what we try to maintain, and I think you would both agree that our issues transcend all that and should transcend that, right? Because you're talking about the big picture. It doesn't matter the RDIL in front of it. Ecotourism in Michigan is a driver. People come there for the scenery, for nature, for the UP, everything in between.
It's our second largest industry in Michigan.
So it's not just the license sales, it's all the stuff around it. It's your hotels, your food, the taxes that are being collected off of that, the jobs that are created, the tax revenue that's coming into the state. You'd think this would be an easy thing for people to grasp, and they just, I don't mean to be insulting, but like,
You can be, because I am at times.
like, come on, this is such a driver, and it should be such an easy thing to get on board with. But yeah, I mean, like I started saying, license holders will get grumpy, and then other representatives will get grumpy because they're getting like 3 or 4 angry emails from their constituents, and it seems that's all it really takes, right?
Yeah.
And, oh, I got a problem, I got to address it, and then you're challenged with having to address the entire body. How do you think you could fix that? You got the Sportsman's Caucus, you got the event. What can your caucus, what do you think the caucuses could do better to engage your own?
I think as soon as the new members come in, educate them on, if it's DNR issues, educate them what the role is for DNR, how they're funded, where their dollars come from, how we can work to make it better, because it's our DNR. DNR isn't their own
That's
country.
right.
It's our DNR
That's
that
right.
manages our state land and our wildlife, which we all enjoy.
Mhm.
And I tell folks, it's not just hunting and fishing. It's backpacking, bicycling, snowmobiling, and ORVing in our states, billions and billions of dollars. And in fact, a lot of it's just untrackable. You just can't keep track of it all. But you see on Friday night, cars going north out of the cities, they're going up
Yeah.
to enjoy what we have in Michigan, 4.6 million acres of state land, thank God.
Mhm.
And it takes money to maintain that state land. And really, those of us that hunt and fish and use the state land are not opposed to looking at fee structures every few years. We wait too long normally. And now we've got to, what are we going to do with fish hatcheries? Maybe we can get some money in a supplemental. I don't know, but we got to start addressing that because it's important we do that. Especially when we're talking billions and billions of dollars in tourism dollars.
Yeah, Director, I want to ask you, and I know this isn't. I'm not trying to go off on a tangent here, and the audience hears this from me all the time, but this is our first conversation. I want to hear from you. Telling the American System of Conservation Funding story. What does Michigan do, if anything, to talk about Pittman Robinson, our history, our successful history to getting to where we are, and what sportsmen and women's role is for the benefit of everybody, game and non-game species alike, and everything in between?
Well, one of the biggest things we do in Michigan is, and this Senator Bumstead talked about this earlier today, but created the Wildlife Council in Michigan, one of the only two states that have it.
That's right.
And that's one of our biggest ways that we get the word out about who pays for conservation. You'll see billboards all over Detroit. It's all geofence related on if you're in an area where there are people that know the least about these things. And so a lot of our constituents are like, "Well, I never see that." Well, you live in the UP. That's not where you're going to see it.
That's the idea of a
That's the
wildlife council,
idea.
right? We're not supposed to see it.
When you're at church, you don't need to talk to
Right.
everybody in church.
That's right.
Right. So, that's been hugely successful for us in getting people to understand the resources we have and who actually pays for them. And then we talk about those fund sources, how they started. And then we also have a partner with a payer program we do with the Fish and Wildlife Service that we've done some videos on that shows like the ammunition leaders in the country what they're getting for that excise tax that goes to these programs. So that's been hugely successful. One of the other things that I feel really moves the needle too is the flip side. Who doesn't pay, right?
Mhm.
So I have people that are bikers, hikers, kayakers, mushroom pickers, paddle boarders, you name it. And they always say, "Well, I pay your salary, so you got to do X, Y, and Z. Create more trails." I say, "Well, you actually don't." And 99% of them are so shocked when you tell them they don't pay for conservation or for natural resources. So, we try to hit that home with a lot of legislators as well. We've done some group events where we've talked about that when Senator Bumstead talks about the bill. And then, we also really like to, when it comes to funding too, on who owns the resource, and Senator just talked about this resource is owned by the people of the state. So we talk about, the public trust. Yes, we manage it, but you own it. The people of Michigan own it. So if you own it and you want a part of that, then really everyone should be paying into the system to take care of the water we have, and the trees. We have the largest state forest system in the country. Most people don't know that. The most fresh water in the world, the most trails of any state. We're known as a trail state, 14,000 miles of trails. So all the people that use that don't pay. And so we try to use that public trust conversation as well and say, it's housed here for us to manage, but you own it. And so therefore, you should want to help maintain it.
So again, you said you're one of two, Colorado being the other state in the country with wildlife councils and success. You guys in Michigan, we saw the success in the last election cycle with Prop 127 and how that all played out. So this is a successful model that we would love to see replicated across all the rest of the 48 states. And there's value in that. But again, we're talking about license fees here, and we're going to ask for another buck or buck 15 people losing their minds over that. But we got us legislators, sportsmen's caucuses can do a better job of articulating what that means, like you just did. And I think it's an easy sell. I want to transition because part of this storytelling, Hunter Ed in schools is a great place to start. Start them young, give them that experience, give them the history lesson on PR. Senator, you have a Hunter Ed in school bill teed up. Talk to us about that and what your goals are there. What does that look like? Where are you starting in the education system?
Well, I think we're getting close. I think it's sitting right now in the Senate Education Committee, but we've got support from all the user groups, hunting and fishing groups, of course, are going to support it. DNR supports it 100%. They've been involved, engaged since day one. We have the Michigan Education Department on board. Luckily, they had one of their employees who's one of the liaisons for the legislators. Her family's they hunt and they fish. So she was really pretty giddy about this because most of them, it's another group that most of them don't hunt or fish, but she got the department to be very supportive of it. And it was really a big deal for us to move this forward. It's sitting in the committee now. The gal that's in charge of the education committee on the Senate side is from the education side, kind of anti-hunting. I think we'll get there eventually. I think we just got to take the slow roll with her. And she's a good gal. It's not her thing. And I think the whole guns in school thing scares her. So as part of that legislation, real guns can't be used into school. They have to be the rubber guns like the DNR, because it'll be a DNR program.
Yeah.
And a lot of the groups are willing to help out with the DNR to work with that on that program. And it's basically to not only get the young people out to just to hunt and fish, but we also want gun safety is very important. There's a lot of gun bills that have been passed the last 5 or 6 years, and if young people don't know the laws, they don't know the laws. So even if you don't hunt or fish, that's a plus. The other thing is if young kids at least take the class, learn a little bit who pays for conservation. Maybe when it comes to the ballot box time, when you have to vote down the road, they'll push the right button. There are people that hunt and fish that are paying the bill, and I'm going to support that.
You only know what you know, right?
Correct.
And that will leave an impression on young people. I believe that. Again, I don't think that's overstating it. When you hit it, let me ask this: when does the curriculum kick in? What's the grade level you're starting at?
I think it was any age.
Any age, okay.
Because in Michigan, you can get a hunting license at any age. But my guess is it's going to be high school level.
So, all right, great. That's where I was going. It feels like
7th and 8th in junior high and high school.
You start getting into that high school level, it sticks with them, and they can comprehend it, right? I mean, obviously, elementary age, they could hear it. Oh, that's kind of neat. But your kids that are getting to maturate out, go to college or go do whatever, that's going to stick with them.
Correct.
And that's wildly important. Curriculum coming from DNR, so it's already done.
Yes.
Low cost, it already exists. You just input it, right?
Correct.
Plug and play. Seems smart.
Win-win for everybody. It'll save lives, just on the gun safety side of things. Because you hear about these accidents at home. Well, kids don't know any different. All guns are loaded guns. They don't know that. That's why it's important for that side of things.
It's pretty remarkable that states that have rich cultural heritage, tradition around shooting sports, hunting and fishing, like Michigan, where this has kind of socially been erased, and it's only been a couple of generations, but it's only what it takes. And this is not in the forefront of their lives, their household, or, it's aged out. Grandpa or great grandpa's gone, and it just never continued. And it seems so simplistic, but even the reaction your people probably had to, guns in the school, like, well, we're not asking to have guns in the school. Rubber guns are fine. We can teach fundamentals with rubber guns, right?
Yep.
Like, that's not what we're trying to do. But the basic education that your generation and older all had, it was just commonplace.
Yep. And it's voluntary.
Correct.
Schools aren't mandated to do it, which makes it better. But like you said earlier, Michigan's a very large state. You have northern Michigan, northern lower Michigan. Where I'm from, November 15th, it's a vacation day because it's the opener of deer season.
That's right.
Well, in some parts of the state, what's a deer? So whenever we address these issues, you got to think of the bigger picture, not just for ourselves and how it affects everybody. So anytime we legislate, we got to make sure kind of the curriculum, the DNR curriculum can fit everybody and is taught differently throughout the state. So we kind of want different results everywhere because that's what's going to happen.
Sure.
Not everybody's going to be out hunting and fishing, but if we can keep them neutral and so they're not pushing the wrong button at election time, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we understand it's baked in the cake. There's 10% of the population that absolutely hates our guts, right? That's just, if we're being candid, we got it.
Yeah.
We're not changing their minds. And even less percentage actively participate, correct, Director? I think on average across the country, we're 4.8% participation in hunting. it's that 80% we're always coveting. And then not even to, we'd like to recruit some of them, right? Get that full 10% participation, get that conservation funding going. But most of them just stay indifferent to what we do. Just like you said, sir. Yeah. Vote the right way or just stay
That's why I encourage everybody we have wonderful state lands. So when I see people out there on their mountain bikes and on their ORV and on their snowmobile, I says, we'll get those people. They'll vote the right way
Sure.
because they're enjoying what we're paying for. And I don't mind that. I wish everybody chip in. I encourage everybody to buy the Michigan hunting license because that basically will fund so much more. Even if you're a hiker and biker, just buy the base license. It's a big deal to Michigan.
Yeah.
And once we get these people out enjoying nature, it's a wonderful thing. Belle Isle's a good example of that down in Detroit. How many years ago did the state take that over?
10.
It's been 10 years already. It was kind of let go by the city, and it was just a disaster. The state took the state of Michigan is really good at running state parks, the best. And they took over Belle Isle, turned it around. How many visitors last year? Over 1 million?
Wow.
4.5.
Whoa.
It's the most visited state park in the country.
Really?
We have the most state parks in the country too in Michigan.
Did not know
So
that.
when those young people from the city of Detroit go out to Belle Isle, if you
Huge.
can see fishing, you can see somebody in a kayak and a boat, that's a win for everybody.
100%.
Because in fact, it was so dangerous, you didn't dare to go out there. It was that bad a shape. State took it over almost overnight, turned it around.
What a great opportunity
Yeah.
for an urban setting, right? To live in that opportunity.
Place
somewhere
well, it's safe. I mean, and they've done a wonderful job rebuilding it. And it's a win-win for the state of Michigan, but especially for those inner city folks that just can't get up to northern Michigan.
Sure.
But you can go out to Belle Isle and throw a rod in the lake or enjoy kayaking or biking or whatever in a safe environment because we have law enforcement there too.
Yeah, good. And that wildlife council probably certainly comes into play there, just educating those folks. Hey, if nothing else, here's a cool place you can go, and here's how it's funded, right? Bringing our talk full circle here, we started off talking about how the agency is nearly 100% funded by licensed revenue matched at the federal level. Senator, you have another bill looking to reimburse for free and discounted licenses going through. Why is that so important, and why is that important to DNR?
Well, over the years, especially when it gets close to election time, well, if I give this group a free license, it's going to look good on my flyer. So over the years, veterans have a certain percent and this group has a certain percent. And it's really hit the department to the tune of several $1 million.
9.5 million.
And that's straight license revenue, not matched.
Correct.
So now we're looking at a 3-to-1 baseline.
Correct. So that's a lot of money. So the bill basically backfills that from the general fund, which it should be. And I encourage legislators, before you start giving stuff away free, think through what you want to give away. Just because it's election time doesn't make it a good bill.
And often with this particular issue, and again, the audience has heard this quite a bit over the time we've had this program, but it's important to say, like, we understand these are nice incentives. These are great initiatives, right? It's like, it's hard to come out against them and look good, right? I'm a vet. I appreciate someone being like, hey, we're going to give veterans a free license. Awesome. But what's the ripple effect of it? And most people don't ask. Like, okay, great. I got a free Bloomin' Onion on in November 11th. I get a free license. Cool. And there's not much more thought. But you start talking dollars and cents, what that takes away from an island in Detroit and limits that access and creates more barriers to entry. Like, that's a big deal, especially 12 million straight dollars
Over
amplified
every year.
Yeah, and then amplified times 3 at least. Like, that's real money that's not coming back. That's creating a shortfall, and then you can't. Now it all comes together. We're looking to update license fees to keep up with the times. Inflation, everything. Well, that bill will help backfill some of that and make that hurt a little easier.
We wouldn't have a problem now with our hatcheries if we had that money.
Right.
It's just, what do we cut next?
So does your bill go back in time, or is it just anything from here forward?
It'll backfill everything, but
Wow.
not payback from last year, but it'll start backfilling everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, that's great. I mean, what we have here is a great cooperative effort here from the legislature with the state agency, and both recognizing their authority and appreciating that collaboration. You guys are, I think that's 26 states out of 50 that have a board or commission that have rule setting authority. work with the legislator, but we all agree, especially in these states, legislatures should not be legislating wildlife management and the fixes to get there, correct?
I would agree, especially with term limits. People are going to come in with an axe to grind and try to get legislation passed. It's not a good way to scientifically manage wildlife. And the board is always appointed by the governor, and they're appointed for different terms.
Mhm.
Sometimes they overlap Republican, Democrat, and it shouldn't be Republican or Democrat. And typically, they've been pretty good. And there's criteria for them to be on there, and which makes sense. Some couple from the UP or Northern Michigan, there's some criteria there. And I think overall in Michigan, they've done a really good job over the years, but certain legislators don't like anything they do. And
Mhm.
I don't know if we can ever fix that. The whole axe grinding thing is just pretty tough. It doesn't help the department. It
No.
doesn't help them when they go to work, when a bunch of people are mad at you for no reason.
What's always interesting too with some of that, and we're going to be wrapping up here. I'll get you back to the summit. Is you often hear these same people that ballyhoo about that and have an axe to grind. They'll always be the ones that say trust the science on other stuff. So if we ask them to trust the science here, but they want to legislate the science, well, you're not a scientist, you're not a biologist. You go through the process of hiring, firing, whatever. You're scouting for talent, and there's certain criteria that qualifies people as the authority, as trust the science people. Well, if we're not doing that, what the hell's the point in hiring these people? You're just all administrators, and you listen to the chamber, the upper chamber or lower, tell you what to do. That's no way to manage wildlife or the resources of Michigan for everybody.
Or they try to micromanage the DNR
right.
trust fund money.
Yeah,
which
they want.
Do you know much about that?
Bob has told me a bit about it, but it's another pot, right? That
It's
people
the only
want to stick their hands
The
in.
only state in the country that has the
Yeah.
DNR trust fund, which is oil and gas lease money, goes to a fund. It was agreed to by the vote of the people in
Mhm.
1975,
Mhm.
6.
You guys just went through a process of reauthorizing that, if my memory serves?
We've changed it 3 or 4 times over the years, but it's got to be done by the electors.
Mhm.
And we're very fortunate to have that in Michigan, because it does help locals with, if they want to purchase, build a park or a boat ramp or something like
Yeah.
that. That money can be used. It's oil and gas lease money on state land.
More money not coming from the agency. That
Correct.
another huge help.
It's huge. It's a huge, wonderful program. In the pot, there's $500 million. The interest can be used. Now the money goes into a state park endowment fund. That'll max out at $800 million. Once that maxes out, that interest can be used for maintaining state parks.
Mhm.
Then it goes back into the trust fund. It'll just bump that up every year for projects. It's a wonderful thing. We all agreed.
Fantastic.
There were some smart people back in the mid '70s.
Good.
It can't be touched by the legislature.
That's a lot of foresight, and thank goodness they did it. Senator Bumstead, Deputy Director Lott, thank you both for your time. Enjoy the summit and appreciate your leadership. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having us.
All right. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your support is crucial, and you can help us out right now by leaving a review, filling in those 5 stars where available, sharing this episode with friends and family, and engaging with us socially. CSF can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Together, we can protect the outdoor sports we love and continue to keep you informed wherever you are. That's it for this week. Until next time, we'll see you later.